Hey guys, what's going on? It's Bomb here, bringing you a bit of a different video, bringing you back to my Oz analysis that I started up when I first started my channel. And basically, we're just going to be discussing the recent draw of the AFC Asian Cup Australia 2015 that was drawn at Sydney Opera House just recently, just this week actually. Yet again, Australia is doomed with the draw, it seems. Korea, Republic, Oman and Kuwait. Obviously, the opponent that sticks out in the memory there is Korea Republic, which is obviously a really, one of those teams you want to avoid. In fact, it was the only team that probably should have been seeded, that all the seeded teams probably would have liked to avoid, and it just so happens that, of course, Australia gets them. So, our chances of progressing in the group. I personally feel, especially considering Ange Postecoglou is doing a fantastic job, in my opinion, of really implementing some free-flowing attacking football into, what was a fairly rigid, old, lump the ball up the field, lads, sort of, game that we were playing under. Sorry, I was about to say Pim Verbeek. Of course, Holger Osik. Pim Verbeek was, of course, our older coach that took over from Holger Osik. So, in saying that, I think our chances in progressing through the group are actually quite good. We've got a couple of really good youngsters coming through the ranks. In obviously Tommy Rogic. We've got Tommy Orr, we've got Matthew Leckie, Rukavica. I've always been a real big fan of his. He's not young, but he is still quite good. And then you've got players that will be pushing for starting bursts possibly, or at least being in the squad. People that probably will be pushing for the squad, even the World Cup, that are in the A-League and are fairly young, such as Adam Taggart, who I'm an absolute massive fan of. I think he's just been a revelation for Newcastle Jets this year. And two, I feel he could do a decent job at Brazil and definitely in Australia for the Asian Cup the next year. Next year. Obviously, you're still going to have some veterans there this week, actually. And just sidetrack, Harry Kewell has the legend, the golden boy of our golden generation. Harry Kewell has decided to hang up his boots at the end of the season, which is really sad to hear, because he was an absolute massive influence on me in terms of my playing style and everything like that as a player. And I'm a huge fan of his, an absolute just attacking winger. He's the epitome of an attacking winger back in his heyday. So really sad to see him retire, but all the best to him in his future endeavours. I'm sure he will be an absolute fantastic mentor and coach in one day. In saying that, of course, we are going to have some old veterans in the team. I still believe for this Asian Cup. So I think we'll have the likes of probably Tim Cahill. Given he does stay fit, which I don't see that being a problem. He is super fit, so but that probably will be his swan song, I think, for the national team. Maybe he might even retire from international football, depending on the result. I think regardless, it will be his last major tournament, as well as people possibly people like, I don't rate him personally. I don't even think he should be near the squad. But Luke Wilshere, that may be his last tournament as well, because he's sort of getting on. But apart from that, look, we're not going to have a very, very old squad. In fact, it'll be fairly young. Like I was saying, we got Rogic, you got Robbie Cruz will be back from injury then. You got Curtis Good, you've got Franjic, you've got Tommy Orr. All good and capable players, of course, most of which will have World Cup experience now, and especially experience against some of the best teams, with our group being probably one of the toughest in the whole you know, in the whole draw of the World Cup, we always get tough draws, and it's no different with the World Cup and the Asian Cup. But our World Cup draw, we've got Holland, Spain, and Chile, three absolute world-class opponents, which will give us if not anything else, it will give us an amazing experience in terms of playing against the absolute elite of the elite. In terms of world football. So it's going to be a great learning curve for some of our young players, especially because I do believe Ange Postecoglou is the right man for the job, and he is doing the right things in terms of giving youth a really big chance at impressing him, and you know, putting their hand up for a starting 11 spot, and of course just a plane ticket on Brazil, on the plane to Brazil. So which of course will help us in the Asian Cup. Bring in this new generation of players which we've needed for such a long time, having really relied on our golden generation, the golden generation being of course the Kjell Viduka, the Lucas Neal, Brett Emerton, to a latter extent of course later on in the piece. Obviously Tim Cahill would be joining in on that sort of golden era of or golden generation of our footballing team. But in any case, guys, I really think we're going to do quite well in this tournament. I really think that we're going to probably progress through the group, hopefully first. I mean, South Korea I see is the biggest test, but by no means is Oman or Kuwait pushovers. By any means they're not. But I do believe that we are going to be able to qualify first in the group, and then go on and probably play North Korea. I think if we play the second team in Group B, I think North Korea will qualify second in that group. So again, a tough match, but I honestly think our home support hopefully will drag us through that match, and then you get to the big guns, you know, your Irans, your Japans, and Iraq, and all that sort of thing, which will be a really big test. But look, let's not get it. You know, let's not get it twisted. I mean, this is our biggest opportunity to grab our first major, at least male footballing tournament prize. So we need to grab this opportunity with both hands, and I really think Ange Postecoglou and his new youth implementation of youth is going to be able to hopefully deliver that. I really honestly think we have a massive chance of winning this, especially given our home advantage, and we need to capitalise on that. In any case, guys, that will do it for the episode. I really hope you enjoyed this a little bit different to my 1860 Munich career mode. As always, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already for more FIFA content, and I'll see you in the next video, which will be up very shortly after this one. Thanks very much for viewing, guys, and I'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.